Hello, and welcome to the first video in a short series of videos that are going to be weapon guides for Squad. The weapon that I'm going to be using today, as you probably guessed it, is the RPG-7. We're going to be taking a look at the different rounds, and we're also going to be taking a look at how to use the optic on the weapon. So first things first, just check that I'm fully supplied, and then we're going to take a step up to the range. The RPG-7 uses two different types of rounds. The one I've got loaded right now is a fragmentation round. Very effective against lightly armored vehicles, logistics trucks, troop transports, and also highly effective against infantry that are within small groups. The other round that it uses is a high explosive anti-tank round. And as you've probably guessed, this is more effective against these bad boys: BTRs, scout cars, and BTs. Now, when we look at the RPG-7, particularly the sighting system, at first glance, it's not the most user-friendly sighting system in the game. In fact, this particular sighting system is used for the light anti-tank and the heavy anti-tank on the Russian ground forces. Okay, so let's take a more in-depth look at the sight on the RPG itself. So when looking at the sight, we're going to work our way from top to bottom. We're going to start in the center of the sight with the large cross. So that represents a 50-meter shot, and the one under it represents a 100-meter. Just to put that into practice, we'll take the 100-meter shot, second cross down, direct hit to that BTR. Let's get some more ammo. So as you can see, first two crosses, pretty easy to understand. Very close range engagements. Now we need to understand how to range slightly further distances. On the left-hand side, there is meter markings, represented with the M. There is a 2, 3, 4, and 5, which each represent 100-meter increments. So just to show you how effective and accurate this weapon can be at long distance, I'm going to take a 500-meter shot. But before I do that, I'm going to show you how to appropriately range 2, 3, 4, and 500. So the 200-meter shot would be right here. So we look to the left, we see the 2, and then we focus on that center line and square it up. 3, 4, and 5, respectively. The 500-meter shot is the one we want, so we'll stay lined up on the target, and we will fire a shot. Perfect hit to the side of that BTR. Grab some more ammo. Okay, so as you've seen, the RPG is a very capable weapon out to 500 meters. Now, the nice thing about being on the range is that we've got everything marked in meters. We know that there's a target for 100 meters, we know there's one for 150, and so on and so forth. Now, when you're running around and you're actually on the battlefield, this is not going to be the case. The best scenario would be if you have a squad leader who's got a pair of binos out and he's spotting targets for you, he's marking them appropriately, and then he's feeding that range data back to you of 100, 200, 300 meters. However, 90% of the time, it's not going to happen. You're going to be on your own, you're going to be stalking vehicles, you're going to need to know how to range them appropriately. The nice thing about this particular sight is that it has a range finding capability. Downside to it is it starts at 200 meters. You should be able to judge shots within the 50, 100 meter threshold anyway. So the range finding doesn't start until 200 meters for that reason. If you look to the middle part of the sight, there's a small gradient that starts with 2 and ends on the right hand side with 10. This is for range finding, and the way that it works is your target, depending on how far away it is, will fit into one of those 100-meter increments somewhere. So let me give you a working example of this. We know that that target over there is at 200 meters. So how can we see that it's at 200 meters? Well, we line it up with the range finding ability here. So we see the top of the target is on the 200-meter mark, and the bottom of the target is sat on the line. So once again, the line underneath the target there, the BTR, and the 200 meter mark is right above it. So we know that that target is at 200 meters. If we want to look at the 400 meter, we then again line it up in there, top of the vehicle to the bottom of the line, and we can see that that's at 400 meters. Now 5 is slightly different. There isn't a marking for 500, a visible number that is, but there is a small pip from the line that shows the 500 meter mark. So line that up. As we can see, it fits in there perfectly on the 500 meter mark. This should be able to give you quick information and allow you to make a quick judgment about how far a target is before engaging it. Once you have an approximate distance, you should be able to engage relatively quickly with this sight. So we'll do a test run. So let's pretend I don't know how far that target is. We need to find out very quickly. It's shooting my squad, it's lighting everybody up, time is of the essence. So we quickly range it. I know that it's a 200 meter shot. I then quickly adjust my sight to the 200 meter mark, fire. Direct hit. So that's it. That concludes the weapon guide for the RPG-7. Hopefully now you know how to accurately engage targets at set ranges, and you also know how to find those ranges. This should make you much more accurate, and it should make you much more effective when it comes to engaging enemy armor. Thanks very much for watching. Goodbye.